and today we're gonna enjoy a little bit of some Indian cuisine, and it was actually recommended to me by a great, very great friend, and he kind of like guided me through a lot of the different flavors and a little bit of the context as far as what to order. But before we get into all of that, make sure you hit the like button so that other people can find this content, and make sure you subscribe so you can catch my latest videos and live streams. So, as you see in the title, and as well as the title card right there, we're dealing with Indian cuisine, and it's very delicious. So today I have Chettinad curry with chicken, and I could pick any other proteins and things like that from the restaurant. I'll put the restaurant name at the end of the video as well as the description. But really good stuff. I took a few bites because I was just waiting and setting it up, and it was really good. But all in all, you'll get my initial reactions to the flavor. We'll go into what is Chettinad curry, a little bit of the history to it, and we also have some oh, there you go. Some garlic naan, and the green screen is turning the cilantro green. I believe it's cilantro. Yeah, it is cilantro. I can see it. But for those of you who have never had it, this is going to be very interesting and kind of eye-opening because I've never had it. But I've had curry in general, but specifically Chettinad curry, and getting it authentically from a restaurant that I was recommended by a person who actually has the culture within their life. It's pretty cool and pretty interesting. So let's get into a taste test real quick. So with it, it comes with white rice. I don't necessarily know what's in it, and we'll get into that, but it's curry with chicken that I believe is baked or roasted, and then we'll use some of the naan. Actually, in spirit of the tradition, I'm going to tear off a piece of the naan, and I'm going to take a bite of the food with the naan. Mm. Mm. That is so good. That is crazy. So I was asking the clerk at the front, what did he recommend? Because I had never been to the restaurant, but I also kind of wanted to explore whatever was more popular traditionally, right? He recommended butter chicken, but I had butter chicken before. So I mentioned that I liked something a little more spicy, and he recommended Chettinad curry. So I asked my friend about it, and she was like, "What do you think about this?" Or I asked her, "What do you think about this?" And she was like, "That's really spicy and a little bit more traditional." And I was like, "Perfect." But this came out really good, really freaking good. I could eat this all day. It had different options as far as you can have a vegetable curry, lamb curry. I think there was shrimp, of course, chicken and things like that, and even tofu. We love tofu here, but that was probably the highlight of my day today because it was so good. Now, before we get into a little bit of the history of Chettinad cuisine, I want to try a piece of chicken. This is going to pretty much tell me a lot about the restaurant, like how they pretty much prepare their chicken and things like that. How they can complement the different ingredients in the restaurant. It's very important as a business owner to understand that because then, you can make a lot of different dishes from the same things. But if this chicken is good by itself, then it's going to basically make every other dish it's added to that much better. Mm. Mm. That's really good. So I believe that was a piece of dark meat chicken, seasoned all the way through. I don't know how they cook it, if like they marinate it or something, but you can taste a bit of the char from the fire, the seasonings from the curry, because it's been in the curry. It's like in the chicken. Now it's like all through the layers and stuff. Very delicious. So enough of me stuffing my face in front of you guys. Let's get into a bit of the historical context of Chettinad curry, and let's just learn a little bit more about it. So here, we went ahead and pulled up our old pal, Gemini. And in my world, Gemini is a female AI who helps me kind of like navigate a lot of the weird questions I may have on the internet. And so one of these questions, oh, it's kind of cut off right there. Let me fix that for you. But one of the questions I asked was, could you give a brief kind of explanation of the historical context, or the history and relation of Chettinad curry? So to get it started, this is what it says. So Chettinad curry is a distinct and highly aromatic cuisine from the Chettinad region of Tamil Nadu, India. It's known for its complex and bold flavors. Yes, very bold flavors. Like, it was almost like a rush of flavor. But it was interesting. It was like a rush of flavor that like played its role. Like, the spice was where it was supposed to be, the sweetness was supposed to be where it was, the saltiness was good. It was all like everybody played their role. I recently learned, this is kind of off topic, but I recently learned that India has their own kind of films that they make called masala films. And in masala films, they want to essentially have the audience experience a roller coaster of emotions. And that's what makes me that that's what's in this dish. It's the roller coaster of flavors, all kinds of different things wrapped in one bite with all kinds of textures. But it continues to say it's known for its complex and bold flavors, which come from a unique blend of freshly ground and roasted spices. That was another key thing about this restaurant that I went to. It's authentically Indian cuisine, so I'm pretty sure they either get their ingredients authentically from great vendors and things like that. But as soon as you walk into the restaurant, you can smell all the herbs. It was so amazing. It was like a whole nother world. But key characteristics. So Chettinad curry has typically a signature of Chettinad cuisine is the use of fresh ground masala paste, which is a mixture typically including a variety of whole spices that are dry roasted before being ground, which is key. Common spices include star anise, fennel seeds, cinnamon, cloves, black pepper, cumin, coriander seeds, and a special ingredient called kalpasi. Kalpasi, I hope I said that right, which is a black stone flour. I have never heard of that. Now, if that's in this dish, you taste delicious, little black stone flour. And it says this adds a unique earthy aroma. Okay, maybe that's the smell that my brain lands on, my nose lands on. So the layered flavors, contrary to a common misconception that it is simply fiery hot, Chettinad cuisine is about a balance of flavors. The spiciness from red chilies and black pepper is often complemented by the creamy richness of coconut and the tanginess of tomatoes or yogurt. The traditional ingredients. Dishes often feature ingredients that reflect the dry, arid climate of the Chettinad region, such as sun dried meats and vegetables. Gingelly, or sesame oil, is also a popular cooking medium. So sesame oil is actually pretty tasty. I haven't had any bad meals with sesame oil. Sometimes I will go to like certain Asian restaurants and you can get some of it you can put on top of your food and stuff. It's really, really good. But one thing I noticed, they said sun-dried meats. I wonder if there's a big difference between like baking something, grilling something, like the taste, the actual like experience. So I wonder, we'll have to explore that in a later day. But here are some of the cooking techniques used in the Chettinad region. So traditional Chettinad cooking often involves slow cooking in clay pots over wood fires. I think I've seen videos of this online, which allows for the flavors of the spices to meld together and deepen over time. And I believe that's also how they make naan. So let's get into a little bit of the historical context. So we know a bit about what it's made, what's in it, the different herbs and all the deliciousness and things like that. But now we got to get into how it came to be and what made it so popular to its people. So the history of Chettinad cuisine is intrinsically linked to the Natukotai Chetias, a wealthy merchant and banking community from the region. From the 18th to the early 20th centuries, they established extensive trade networks across Southeast Asia, particularly in places like Sri Lanka, Burma, Malaysia, and Indonesia. Their travels and exposure to different cultures had a profound influence on their cuisine. They didn't just bring back profits, they also incorporated exotic spices and cooking techniques from places they visited. That's actually really smart. That's actually really smart to do. Next, it says they fuse the new influences with their traditional Tamil flavors, creating a cuisine that was both local in soul and global in its reach. Interesting. This unique blend of heritage and innovation is what gives Chettinad curry its distinct character and makes it one of the most celebrated regional cuisines in India. So I actually probably hit like X marks the spot when it comes to making this choice at the restaurant. But it was really a recommendation from the cashier there, the waiter. Really, really good food. This is amazing. So before I take another bite, because honestly, if I eat another bite of this, I'm gonna have to take a few more. I'm gonna check out naan. What is the history of naan? So let's type that in here into AI, into Gemini. And if you don't use AI, just think of AI as a tool to help you kind of quickly navigate a lot of the context to the things you'll search up. So, like, I could have found one link that would have showed me how to make Chettinad curry, another link to show me the history, one link that blended both things. But Gemini just takes a little bit of everything from the information and kind of creates one big message for me. So it organizes things. So let's see, what's the history of naan? And we're letting it think. It's coming up with a response here, and we actually got a lot of information. So let's get into it. So, naan has a rich history that can be traced back to ancient Persia. Wow, I would have never freaking guessed Persia would have came up, which is now modern day Iran, where the word naan was a generic term for bread. The flatbread we recognize today became a significant part of South Asian cuisine with the arrival of the Mughals in India. So, some key historical points Gemini brought up. So, the earliest mentions of naan. The first recorded mention of naan in the Indian subcontinent comes from the notes of the Indo Persian poet Amir Khusrau. I probably shouldn't have said that. My music's probably hating that I said that. So, Amir Khusrau, I'm going to say it that way. Around 1300 AD. That's pretty crazy. He wrote about two types of naan served to nobles in the imperial court of Delhi naan I tunuk, a light or thin bread, a naan I tanuri, a heavier bread baked in tandoor. The Mughal influence. So next we have during the Mughal Empire in the 16th century, naan became a delicacy of the royal court. It was a breakfast food for nobles, often served with kebabs or minced meat. That actually sounds pretty good. I've seen videos and I've actually been to a few places where they've served similar things like naan, roti, and things like that. And usually people would eat the food with their hands. And you would take a piece of naan and you would scoop up a bit of the curry, the chicken, or vegetables, and you would eat it that way. It's really good. It's also a great way to kind of intuitively eat. Like, for example, if you've ever eaten with me, I would have already been finished eating. But because I would have had a fork and a straw in my drink, I'm not like physically connected to the food, if that makes sense, right? But because I have to actually create a fork and spoon out of my hand, it takes that much more work. So it's a little bit more of a mind muscle connection to eating, which in these examples can kind of create a culture where people have a direct relationship to the food that they're eating. So, like for me, in America, our foods are like, cheeseburgers, ribs, barbecue food, and a combination of maybe other cultures, right? But how we relate to those foods can kind of vary. So it's very cool that over in Asia and India, they eat with their hands and not necessarily with utensils all the time. It's just different. It's really cool. The Mughals also introduced the use of ingredients like nuts, fruits, and saffron, elevating naan from a simple flatbread to a more refined dish. That's actually pretty cool. The tandoor oven. So I think I've seen a few of these in videos and things like that, but let's see. The distinctive fluffy texture and charred spots of naan are a result of being cooked in a tandoor, a cylindrical clay oven. This cooking method, which can reach extremely high temperatures, is central to the traditional preparation of the bread. And then I believe that is the clay ovens, like it looks like basically a clay vase, and they put the dough in the bottom, and I believe, and then it heats the vase up from the top and the outside, and they have to, basically cook it by flipping it and letting it get nice and fluffy and charred. So its popularity, while initially reserved for the upper classes due to its specialized preparation, naan became more common among the general public in the 1700s. Introduction to the West. So that's over here on my side of the hemisphere. The word naan was first introduced to the English language by the historian William Tooke in a travelogue from 1799. So that's a little bit of the history of this delicious little piece of bread called naan. And if I were to describe it to somebody who's never had it, it's literally a flat bread. It's nice and flaky. It's got a bit of a gummy chew, a very slight gummy chew. And the seasoning is like on top. It's not baked within. So I can tell like they put whatever seasonings and things on that after it was already made. But the thing about it is it's a great tool for eating. So you take a piece, grab your favorite piece of food. Oh my goodness, there's so many flavors in that curry. And you'll enjoy it. Goodness. Another thing, Chettinad curry, it's pretty spicy. So if you're not a fan of spice, you may not like it. But in terms of what kind of spice, it's not spicy in the sense of like hot sauce. It's spicy in the sense of like all the herbs have a little bit of spice, and then combined, they basically coat your tongue in like this very warm, sexy flavor that you almost can't get enough of. But here, I'm gonna pull out something really cool. So this is actually one of the peppers in my bowl. And it looks like it's either de-seeded or the seeds are already in there. More than likely de-seeded, and seeing that it's not that spicy. But we're gonna actually take this to the head, and we'll go ahead and end this one and call this a delicious lunch with you guys. There were seeds. That is really nice. I think that's a red chili. I don't know. Let me know in the comments, but that was really nice. Woo. So like when I bit into it, all the flesh came flying out, and I started biting and opening the seeds. It's really delicious. I love it. But yeah. Chettinad curry. And before I go, look at this big old piece of chicken. Before I go, I want to tell you the name of the restaurant. So I want to get the name right. Let me pull up the proper name because they deserve their credit. Really, really good restaurant. The cashier there, he was very informative. He kind of walked me through the menu, and he was very helpful. I was also able to tell him a bit of my allergies and stuff like that, so he made sure that was up to date. Well, not up to date, but he was aware of it. So it's called JJ's Curry and Biryani in Richland County, South Carolina. So go check them out. Tell them I sent you. Don't even tell them it's a review. Just tell them I sent you. Order whatever you like in there. Get a lot of it. They actually do big meals if you want to bring a family, or if you want to order ahead and just have it, catered and things. Not catered, but if you want to serve a big family, they do that as well. But this is, wow. Much love to the chef. This is really, really good. White meat chicken. And it's tender. All that just melted in my mouth. But if you love this, you love curry, Indian cuisine, let me know in the comments what other foods I should try. And let's explore all of it. So this was Eat Better Today with your boy, DameSmiff. And I will see you next time.